What kind of man would torch his own homeland, slaughter his own people, poison his own wells just to break an invading empire? In the spring of 1462, Sultan Mehmed II, the conqueror of Constantinople and the most feared ruler of the Ottoman Empire, marched his massive army into Wallachia. His target? Vlad III, voivode of Wallachia, known throughout history as Vlad Tepes, or more infamously, Vlad the Impaler. But what Mehmed encountered wasn't a battle, it was a wasteland. Villages reduced to ash, crops destroyed, livestock gone, wells poisoned, and silence, an eerie, deathly silence. Because Vlad didn't wait for war, he became the war. Knowing he couldn't match the Sultan's 90,000 men in open combat, Vlad turned to a darker strategy. He scorched his own earth. He ordered the evacuation or extermination of entire populations, the destruction of anything that could feed or shelter the enemy. It wasn't madness, it was calculated resistance. A letter Vlad sent to the Hungarian king, Matthias Corvinus, survives in the archives today. In it, he writes with cold clarity, "I have killed peasants, men and women, old and young. We have burned down everything." And it worked. The Ottomans advanced into nothingness. Disease spread. Soldiers collapsed from exhaustion and hunger. Morale broke, not in the clash of swords, but in the absence of hope. But then came the real message. As Mehmed's army pressed toward the capital city of Târgoviște, they were met with something out of a nightmare. Thousands of bodies impaled on towering wooden stakes stretched across the horizon, a grotesque forest of the dead. Men, women, even Ottoman scouts and envoys, all displayed like trophies of horror. The message was clear: this is what awaits you. Contemporary sources, including the writings of Ottoman chronicler Tursun Bey and Venetian ambassadors, describe the Sultan's reaction. Mehmed, a seasoned warrior, reportedly halted his advance, visibly shaken. He is said to have whispered, "One cannot defeat a man who does this to his enemies and his own people." But Vlad wasn't finished. In a chilling twist of psychological warfare, he began releasing Ottoman captives, not as a gesture of mercy, but as walking warnings. Survivors were sent back to Mehmed's forces, maimed and mutilated. Eyes gouged, ears and noses sliced off, limbs shattered, skin branded or carved with symbols. These weren't just injuries, they were statements. According to Slavic chronicles, Vlad once nailed turbans to the skulls of Ottoman diplomats who refused to remove them in his presence, mocking their customs in the most brutal way possible. True or not, the story became legend, reinforcing Vlad's image as a ruler who feared no reprisal and bowed to no law but his own. Even within Wallachia, Vlad ruled with terror. Impalement wasn't just a tool of war, it was a way to enforce order. Theft, dishonesty, laziness, any violation of civic virtue could mean a stake in the ground. One account tells of a woman impaled simply for lying about her husband's work. For Vlad, chaos was the true enemy, and terror was the cure. By the end of 1462, Vlad had turned Wallachia into a graveyard and a fortress, without ever meeting Mehmed in a pitched battle. He shattered one of the world's greatest armies, not with swords, but with starvation, fear, and a mind that knew the true battlefield was not just land, but the human soul. And here's my take. Vlad the Impaler was not just a ruler, he was a weapon. In an age where diplomacy failed and empires crushed the weak, Vlad refused to be crushed. He chose brutality over surrender, terror over silence. His methods were horrifying, but effective. And perhaps that's the most terrifying truth of all. So I leave you with this question. If everything you loved stood between two empires, would you set it all on fire to survive? Let me know in the comments below. Which of Vlad's tactics do you think shook the Ottomans the most? The scorched earth, the impaled victims, or the mutilated survivors? Because in the end, his message wasn't written in letters. It was written in blood.